Pacing can have a big impact on a webtoon and comic reader's retention. Too fast and your reader's gonna feel lost and disconnected from your story, and too slow, they're gonna get bored and forget about your story. Don't worry, I got a few tips that are gonna keep your readers hooked. Hey, Walter here, and today we're talking about pacing. Now, exact pacing is going to be specific to the author and the type of story they're trying to tell. So there really isn't a magic formula, but there are baselines you can use to guide you while you're crafting your story. So let's start with the start of your story, because where else would we start if not for the start of your story, for the start of this video? All readers will only give you a limited amount of time to capture their interest, and I may have already lost you with that last sentence I just said. So in that limited amount of time that you have, you want to entice them to hit that subscribe button. And some readers may give you 5 episodes, others may give you 3, some may only give you 1, some may only give you a few panels. But if you notice, most Webtoon originals start with 3 episodes at launch, and that is not random. First of all, Webtoon has a built-in feature that will ask readers if they want to subscribe after reading 3 episodes. So you want to always launch your comic with at least 3 episodes for that little bonus feature Webtoon gives us. But Webtoon's probably also done some analytics and figured out that 3 episodes are kind of a tipping point for readers. It's then that the readers are going to ask themselves to subscribe or not subscribe. That is the question. Actually, the subscribe prompt comes as soon as they pull up the 3rd episode, so you really only have 2 episodes to hook them. Now, for more traditional print comic readers out there, 2 to 3 Webtoon episodes is about the length of a single comic episode issue, which is basically your only shot of hooking new readers as well if you're from the print world. Now, does that mean you need to have a crazy alien space battle and the Earth exploding by episode 2? No, of course not, but you do need to give the reader insight into what they can expect if they stick around. Where is the story going? Who are the characters? And most importantly, why should your reader care about any of it? And that's not easy. As they say, if it was easy, everyone would do it. And you don't have to do it in the first 2 episodes if you can't. I mean, some stories are just too big to get it all out in 2 episodes, especially if you're doing shorter episodes. Now, side note, what is a short episode? Well, there isn't a rule, but I'd say 20 or less panels is short, 20 to 40 is decent. However, 50 or more panels is where a lot of the Webtoon originals live. So maybe you don't have to do it in 2 episodes, but I would say you need at least something that is going to make your readers say, yes, I want to read this thing within the first 5 episodes. So ask yourself, why would someone want to read your story? Is it the plot, the characters, the humor, the romance, the world, the powers, the tech? Whatever it is, fit that in as early as possible, even if it's just giving the readers a taste. This is why it's risky to have your first episode be a history lesson or an exposition dump style prologue. Do you want to make your readers care about some king that died 200 years ago, or the young princess who's going to be the hero of your story? It can be helpful to make a list of the things you think you need to convey to your reader. How weak a character is, how magic works, how this character hates this other character, how evil the bad guy is. And then, you start coming up with ways to visually show these things to your reader within the allotted amount of time. Now remember, you want to show us and not tell us. Don't say the evil guy is evil. Show the evil guy kicking a duck or, whatever it is evil people do. I wouldn't know. I'm not evil. Writing a list of things you need to convey to a reader and cool ways to do it is actually a good practice, just for your entire story. Treat it like a shopping list and mark things off as you get them written into your story. That way you're not like, oh crap, I forgot to show that the sword was actually made by a magical blacksmith or whatever you're trying to show. Okay, so you started your story, you got your reader interested. Now what? You want to think about keeping a beat that drives your story forward. For every episode that you write, ask yourself, what's the point of this episode? Why do I need to write it? Why do I need to spend time drawing it? Different reasons will matter for different people, but it's important that you, The writer has a reason for it, unless your reason is, of course, unreason. But a good exercise could be to label each episode's purpose. Examples would be story, action, character, or backstory. So story episodes are plot progressions. Hero walks to the secret grave. Hero learns they are the child of the queen. Character episodes are going to be insights into who a character is, but doesn't necessarily move the narrative forward. We see our hero like maybe show up for work drunk and then he gets fired. This shows us the state of our hero, but doesn't directly progress the narrative forward. Action episodes, just have action. It can be a culmination of the story episodes building up to that. It doesn't mean, just face punching. It could also be huggy kissy face also, whatever. And then backstory episodes would be stuff that fills in history to give context to certain elements. Maybe we're told that our hero is adopted and we see his life through foster homes, or maybe we learn the rules of the game a character is going to be playing throughout the story. The more you can make episodes blend several labels together, the better off you're going to be. Having too many backstory episodes will slow down your momentum. Too many character episodes will have your readers wondering if your story is actually going anywhere. A lot of action without any of the others will become mind-numbingly unimportant, and too much story and things will start feeling rushed or inconsequential. So jot down your episodes, label them, step back, and see what you're working with. And you can do the same thing for your favorite webtoon that's similar to your story. Just dissect their episodes, get their labels, and then see how you're matching up with them. Another big part of pacing is the problem and solution rhythm. A very standard story layout is the 3-act play. You start with Act 1, introduce a problem which kicks off Act 2. Act 2 is a rising action which leads to the climax and the start of Act 3 and ends with a resolution. A lot of people have a hard time with Act 2. It's a big chunk of the story and it's difficult to maintain momentum. The trick is treating it like it's its own 3-act play and then break that further into even more mini 3-act plays. So you get a bunch of little conflicts and resolutions to keep your reader satiated throughout this long journey. It's like if you had to drive really far to get to a restaurant, you'd start getting really hungry and eventually you'd die. Okay, so this restaurant is really far. But if you got to stop and get a quick snack every few days, you wouldn't die. So what I'm saying is don't starve your reader. Example, story starts and our hero learns they must kill the evil demon. Okay, but now they have to learn how to actually fight. So now that's a little mini story. But to learn to fight, they need to find an old master of demon fighting martial arts who's been missing for years. Now that's another mini story. To find the master, they need to find a history book that was last seen in a haunted, abandoned library, and maybe on their way their horse breaks down and they have to stop for the night at a goblin infested hotel. And it doesn't have to be plot driven either. Maybe the drunk hero has to give up booze and survive the withdrawal, going from weak to strong as they heal. Anyways, you get the idea. Problem to solution to another problem to another problem, eventually reaching a solution that fixes a problem or maybe even kicks off another problem. Now, we all love our characters, but we need to put them through hell if we want to make a good story. We want to highlight their weaknesses as well, not just their strengths. And it doesn't have to be demons either. This applies to whatever, romance stuff. Maybe our hero is trying to get to a date on time and everything is just going wrong, or they're trying to impress someone they love by, learning all these stupid skills when really they just needed to learn how to become a better person. How many problem resolution beats you need and how often you're going to need them are going to depend on your story. But I think a safe baseline would be similar to what we did for the start of the story. Readers are fickle, so having something every 5 to 10 episodes that reminds them why they love your story is probably smart. Now the big question is, how long should your entire story be? The only real answer is how long does it need to be, or how long do you want it to be? Do you want to spend the next year of your life on it? Do you want to do it for the rest of your life? Maybe 6 months for the first arc, take a break, work on a completely different story, then come back later to do another 6-month second arc. Figure out how long you want to spend on it and then build the story around that time frame. From there, you can adjust if it needs to be longer or shorter. As always, my big tip for anything, look at what you love. How long are your favorite stories? And speaking of looking at other webtoons, check out my webtoons, Ghost Bats on Webtoon, link in the description. It's a little easier with books and movies. They've been around forever. You know, movies are 2 hours long, books are like 500 to 1,000 pages. A lot of them are trilogies. TV shows are, well, really freaking long, and then you get invested, and then the network cancels the show, and all of your questions are left unanswered, and you grow bittered. Anyways, but webtoons can be infinite or as short as 3 episodes. I promise baseline, so I'd say maybe 900 panels could tell a pretty decent story. That's 45 episodes with 20 panels each. Or a pretty healthy story arc at 2,000 panels. That's 100 episodes at 20 panels a pop. So 2,000 panels is like 300 to 400 pages in print comics. So that's a lot of story. Now, it's not an exact science. Whatever length the story becomes, just think about breaking it up into beats to keep your readers engaged, to make the story feel like it's moving towards something. If you found this video helpful, make sure you like the video. It helps the channel grow, and say hi in the comments as well. Now, if you have any thoughts or questions or would just like more details, let me know in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them, or do a video covering any additional insights. If you want to help support the creation of these videos, please check out my Patreon. Your support will get you access to my monthly vlogs. There I discuss topics and ideas about comics and arts that I don't really talk about on YouTube. You're also going to get access to my super secret Discord where you can get help and share your journey. I also have higher tier rewards for portfolio reviews, critiques, and mentorships if you're interested in that. But if you just want to keep making comics easier, all you have to do is like, link, love, hug, and hit that sub button for more sweet, sweet goodness. Being a writer is immersing yourself in complete darkness and then learning how to become your own light. Catch you in the next video. Peace.